Recording's
Hello. Recording in progress. Got a little bit of my thumb there. Welcome to the couch. A virtual meeting, our second virtual meeting that we've had to do.
What's left of the couch?
What's left of the couch. Correct indeed. Moving day today, but we're all done. We're all packed and we're ready to go. But yeah, welcome to the couch. This week's topic has actually been selected by one of our viewers, so thank you very, very much. The particular topic that this person reached out to me to talk about is about self-doubt, and I won't mention names, but I do want to say thank you to that particular person for sharing the detail that they did share, because it really does show that, you know, when we say about helping, you know, just one person means that this has all been worthwhile. What's been shared with us over the last few days has kind of highlighted that we're achieving exactly what we set out to do, and it's very humbling when we get stories like what we've just had, and that's why we're more than happy to do this video on self-doubt. So when it comes to self-doubt, where do you begin? I mean, that's the question, right? You know, I guess a great place to start with is what is self-doubt, and what causes self-doubt. And you know, Darren and I were talking about this just before we started very briefly, and in my opinion, self-doubt is a manifestation of all the negativity that surrounds us in our world, whether that be our own emotional well-being and our own thoughts in our head about ourselves, or whether that be listening to the external voices around us. Even when they're trying to be supportive, sometimes their own self-doubts manifest, and they put those self-doubts onto you. And I think that's a good place to start, Darren. I don't know what you think.
Yeah.
Good chat, mate.
Say one word.
It's meant to be Tad chat, not, you know. But look, I guess I'll talk about myself a little bit then, because
here we go.
I've certainly experienced self-doubt countless times, on a personal level, and perhaps mostly on a career level. And for those of you that are in the know, and for those of you that aren't, you know, this week I've started a new venture, set up a new business, which is kickstarting this week. And had I listened to the voices that were surrounding me over the last 2-3 years, I'd never would even imagined that I'd be sat here this week, working from home, preparing for my first business meeting tomorrow, getting excited about next week and the ventures that you and I have, Darren. Mm-hmm. I'm feeling positive, nervous, full of self-doubt still, but excited and focused and driven, you know. And I think we've talked a lot about self-doubt in different topics, you know, hidden away when we've talked about anxiety, you know, and I think that's probably a good place to start to a degree, you know, because anxiety, as we've mentioned before, is a huge problem, not just locally in Bournemouth or Taunton or Devon or where you are, Darren, or in the UK. It's a global problem, you know. It's a global problem, and when we're struggling with anxiety in the first place, self-doubt is a little cousin, you know, that pops along in our thoughts and our head. And the question is really, how do we combat that? You know, how do we? Because it's always going to be there. That's the first, you know, I keep saying that's the first thing. That's one thing to recognize, is self-doubt. You'll never get rid of it. So enjoy self-doubt, you know, use it as a tool, use it as a weapon. Because if you're doubting yourself in any situation, the first thing to do is to question why that is, you know. And I can see you frowning, Darren. You're thinking, where's he going with this? But, you know, if you start to question, okay, why do I doubt myself? That leads you to the answers, you know. Or if it doesn't lead you to the answers, it leads to more questions, which eventually will lead to the answers. So the person, as a prime example, the person that's reached out to us has put that forward as a particular topic because it's something they struggle with. And had they not done that and questioned, why do I struggle with self-doubt, we wouldn't be talking about it today. And hopefully we can help that person, you know?
Yeah, it shouldn't be a solitary process as well, because I think I heard somewhere that I think it's about 60% or even 70% of internal dialogue is negative, just by our nature. And I think you have to be very careful about whose counsel, whose company you keep, because you said the voices could be internal. Well, I don't know if I can do this. I've never tried this, and you're a bit fearful. It could be the voice. You may have meant voices externally, and it may have been people who are a bit envious and going, "Oh, I don't think you should do that. It's a bit risky," whatever that thing may be. Or it could be that they've just come from a genuine place of concern because they couldn't themselves see themselves doing something like this, and
really
they're living in that comfort zone. Going back to stuff we've talked about before, they're in a comfort zone, and they think that it's risky to step outside of that because you potentially put everything you've got within that comfort zone at risk. Or you speak to somebody else who has stepped outside, and they might say, you know what, it is a little bit fearful because I've been there, but I think you might be surprised about the things you can achieve if you do step outside those comfort zones. But yeah, self-doubt, the worst thing you can have is they call it a seed of doubt, don't they? And a seed, tiny little thing. It doesn't have to, somebody doesn't have to say anything big or dramatic. Somebody doesn't have to, or you don't have to, be hugely fearful, but someone just going, are you sure? It could be enough to trigger a chain of events, and you think, actually, second thought, I'm going to stay where I am, or I'm not going to face this thing that's challenging me at the moment.
Yeah.
My head in the sand.
Well, did you know what? I think you're fundamentally right. There we go. There's the first one of those. But
1,000,000%.
It's quite interesting to take that analogy there of a seed of doubt. If you think about it this way, there's two seeds deeply rooted internally within us. One of them is the seed of doubt, and the other one we can label the seed of self-confidence and self-belief. And we've posted a video on self-confidence before, right? And it's about how we nurture both of those seeds. Which one do we choose to water the most? And if we're going to listen to those internal and external voices, then the seed of doubt is what's going to grow. And that's what's going to take over, and become an internal emotional rainforest, if you will. Or if you decide to nurture the seed of self-confidence and self-belief, how do you do that? And I kind of think, linking back to some of our other videos, that we've kind of talked about that a little bit. Even last week's video, when we talked about, the internet and the power and the knowledge and the information. And you mentioned there about external voices, and if you're only surrounded by those negative voices that are watering that seed of self-doubt, then you've got to make that change. And
definitely,
if you don't know anybody in your inner circle that's going to help water that seed of self-confidence, then use us. We're here as a voice. That's why we do this. But B, Google what's causing that doubt. Google it. Go onto YouTube, and we've talked about it. There's tons and tons of stuff out there, probably 100% better than us, right? That are out there providing one day, Darren, providing expert advice on how to deal with these exact things, and look out for those positive influences. There's thousands of people out there.
Yeah, read the stories, listen to the stories of people who've overcome, learn from the hurdles that they had in whatever it may be, whether it's you need to sort out a failing relationship, and you don't know whether it's wise, or you don't know what the consequences are going to be of facing something head on. It could be a work thing, or just how you face the day. But yeah, for me, some people like to read, some people will listen. For me, for sure, we keep talking about YouTube and stuff. it's hearing other people's stories who've been in a similar situation, connecting with that story and thinking, if I put myself in that story, I'm in the first chapter of that story, of my chapter that I'm going through at the moment. But if I learn from what they've done following, if I follow in their footsteps, then hopefully I'll be all right. If I follow the footsteps of someone who's walked through a minefield and got through no problem at all, if I follow their footsteps, I'm safe.
That's it. And you know, you're right about connecting with the story. You know, if I talk about my story a little bit, you know, this last
we haven't got all night.
6, 7, we could be. This will be a 6-part series, but the last 6,
Season
7
1.
months. That's it. I've been I've been instrumental in my own personal growth. If I go back 6 months and beyond, the last 2-3 years before that, you know, I wasn't in a good place, you know, mentally and emotionally, and it was affecting my personal life, my private life. I became quite insular, and equally it affected my professional life. And what was happening was unfortunately I was in a relationship which wasn't great, and a lot of the negativity that was in that relationship was definitely watering my seed of doubt. You know, constantly being told you're not good enough, you're useless, etc., etc. And eventually, over a period of time, you believe it, and you become trapped. And I was certainly trapped in a world that I was desperate to make right, but couldn't. No matter what I tried, it was just not good enough. And then eventually, I you know, we've talked about reaching a pivotal point, right? And I definitely reached a pivotal point where I was like, enough's enough, and I don't deserve to be treated this way. And I stepped away from it. And by stepping away from that negativity, it opened up so much more positivity that I was just never expecting. And you know, if we talk about, you know, surrounding yourself with people that can water your seed of confidence, the first, you know, you step back into my world, I think is a fair thing to say. We talked a lot about it, and it was off of the back of those conversations that we started these videos, right? And these videos have helped me as much as I hope that they help other people, because it's helped water my seed of confidence. Some of the feedback we've had, or even just doing these videos and talking about it openly, naturally and honestly, you know, it led to you know, me meeting Lauren, who's just been an incredible support and influence in my life, and over the last 6-7 months, to the point that I'm relocating so we can be together. And that's helped me build my self-confidence up to set up my own business, something you've been telling me to do for years and years, which has led to me re-engaging with 2 very good friends of mine, Pete and Alan, who I'm looking to sign hopefully a first agreement with tomorrow to start drumming up business for the business I'm launching. You know, it's led me to opening up to my family and hearing the support from them, and the confidence that's given. You know, it's increased my connections on LinkedIn. It's led to a number of different things, and it's actually led from, if I go 6-7 months back, 8 months ago, to me being in a very dark place, thinking, how the hell am I going to get out of this? I'm never going to get out of this. I'm not good enough. I don't have, no matter what I've already achieved, that didn't matter anymore. It was in the moment, to now being, well, I'm launching my own business, and I've got that confidence. Still got some doubts. They're still there. There's still concerns and worries, but I've got the belief.
And how does it feel to be on your own time and knowing that from your efforts, you're going to get 100% of the reward is 100% yours from those efforts?
Well, that's a different conversation altogether, isn't it? And the feeling of that is good, but the real positive feeling is the journey that's led to it. You know, that's what gives me excitement. That's what gives me the confidence, because if I look back at what I've been through, and I can get to where I am today, just at the beginning of this brand new journey, and have this level of belief and self-confidence and focus again, I now have that belief that I can get for anything.
Well, yeah, and it will lead you to think that, say, we look at this in 6 months' time. Where will your confidence levels be in yourself, your inabilities to, give to a community, whichever community that happens to be, get a fair reward for it, be independent, stand on your own 2 feet, support your family without being beholden to the system that we're born into. I think that the first 6 months will be quite an eye-opener and a learning curve for you. And I think the following 6 months, you'll just be flying high, reaching your full potential, which so many of us have already known for so many years that you've got untapped. Well, it has been tapped. It's been tapped into by other people. Now it's for you and for your family.
Yeah, 1,000,000%. I don't disagree with that. And, to hear you say that again, had I listened to other voices, those kind of comments wouldn't be in my life right now, and I certainly wouldn't be doing what I'm doing. So it is exciting. And, when you step out your comfort zone, which again ties into self-confidence, you soon learn, and what I will learn in the next 6 months is going to be instrumental for the rest of my life. And had I've allowed myself to water that seed of self-doubt, there's going to be so many lessons and exciting parts of this journey that I would never have experienced. And that's the beautiful part, isn't it? And there's going to be failings. There's going to be times I'm going to trip over. Of course there is. But the beautiful thing is, when you talk about how it feels and my mindset now, having gone through that self-doubt, and I'm coming out the other end for sure, if not already out the other end, is the reality is it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter, because it's a 10-year plan. First of all, time is on my side. It's a 10-year plan. It's recognizing that things are going to go wrong. That doesn't matter. And it's recognizing that if it fails, doesn't matter. I'm not going to allow that now to feed that self-doubt mind. I'll pick myself back up again.
Well, yeah. If you understand
all those things we've talked about.
Yeah. If people understand that, if they're on a path to somewhere, there's going to be obstacles, failures along the way. You could plan to drive from here to the tip of Scotland, and flat tire could be a failure along the way, but it's not insurmountable. No. And that's, it's just that failing is part of a process. It only wins if you stop at a failure.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. Yeah, you're going to fail in life. It's inevitable. It's inevitable.
But we've talked about it before. Winning is a good thing. Not getting the result you want is a learning experience, which equals a good thing. That was our win-win strategy.
Exactly. And that is really, in a nutshell, how you build that self-confidence. If you break it down, we've talked a little bit about, really the first step is get rid of the negative influences. They're going to be feeding those internal voices. Those internal voices will always be there. The question is which one are you going to allow to grow and manifest internally, and which one are you going to kill off as quickly as you can? So get rid of those internal voices as best you can.
Yeah. Turn your back on the dark comments and the dark feelings. And if you turn your back on darkness, then what you're automatically going to face is a sunrise.
I love it. I love it. Love it. Love it. You make it so simple, mate. I overcomplicate. You make it simple. It's why it works.
Well, I was thinking it's 18 minutes now, and we probably need to get to the point of wrapping up. We can always do a part 2 later on.
That's it. No, let's speed it up. So to get rid of the negative voices, step 1, surround yourself with people that are going to be influential and positive. Go out and look for them. That they're there. We're here. There's going to be some friends. Exactly. You can meet people on LinkedIn if you need to. Use the World Wide Web. Get onto YouTube. Search out there topics based on what your self-doubts are manifested around, and learn from their journey. And the 5th one really is expect to fail, but take the learnings and make it a win-win situation. And I think that's it from me. Those 5 steps, I think, is really in a nutshell, in a very short space of time, how you can overcome self-doubt. We just hope that this has been useful and helpful. Please don't forget to subscribe.
Yeah. Be a toddler learning to walk. You're going to take steps.
Yeah.
You're going to fall and stumble, but stick a smile on your face. Be around those who are going to support you. Get back up and try again. And before you know, you won't be walking, you'll be running.
100%. 1,000,000%, in fact. I'll chuck that one out there for you. I'll chuck that one out for you. Right. Okay. I think that's a wrap from us.
Because
no, it's not.
We're on 2 different cameras. I can't just do the zoom with my hand. So it's got to be on a camera. You got to do it as well. So
right.
3, 2, 1, zoom in.
That's it. Simple as that. Thank you for watching, guys.
3, 2, 1.